Stonehenge, the Great Pyramids, the Bermuda Triangle. For centuries, man has sought answers to the world's greatest mysteries, such as the location of a legendary lost continent called Atlantis, thought to exist over 10,000 years ago. But is it true? One theory suggests that a cataclysmic earthquake or tidal wave sank Atlantis into the sea, like the volcanic eruption around 1500 BC that sank the Greek island of Thera. Was Thera the real Atlantis? If Atlantis did sink, it could be in a part of the ocean so deep it's beyond our reach, such as the Mariana Trench off the coast of Guam. But these are just two of the possible places where Atlantis may lie. Detailed accounts of Atlantis, including those from the Greek philosopher Plato around 370 BC, described an island empire somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. Some suggest that Atlantis had technology, machinery, and medicine far superior to today's. As man's fascination with this lost continent continues, more theories are likely to surface. In the quest to prove the existence of legends such as Atlantis, scientists often turn to ancient manuscripts, scrolls, and other writings. But most of these important resources have been lost through the ages. Some were burned by invading armies. Others were written on materials that have deteriorated over time. And still others may lie hidden in areas unknown. The Dead Sea Scrolls are one such example. Dating back 2,000 years, these manuscripts were found in a cave near the Dead Sea, where they were sheltered from man and the elements over the centuries. But such findings are rare. If there were scrolls that gave a first-hand account of the existence of Atlantis, such as the fictitious Shepherd's Journal in the movie, you can bet scientists and explorers like Milo would love to get their hands on it. It might unlock secrets about Atlantis, such as its culture and history, and most important, its location. But such an artifact could be difficult to interpret if it's written in a language that's no longer spoken, called a dead language. Or it might not be in a language at all, but in symbols, like the hieroglyphics discovered in the Great Pyramids of Egypt. By studying these types of ancient writings, scientists can piece together the past and theorize about events that happened, which could lead to the discovery of Atlantis. If Atlantis were sitting at the bottom of the sea, explorers would need a highly sophisticated submarine in order to safely reach it. Plans for the world's first submarine were developed as early as 1578 by a British mathematician, but it wasn't until 40 years later that one was actually built. Of course, it was little more than a submersible rowboat with an air tube. More advanced models were developed over the next 3 centuries by different inventors around the world, and the propulsion mechanism advanced from hand-cranked oars to engine-powered systems fueled by steam, electricity, gasoline, and finally, nuclear energy. In 1870, author Jules Verne conceived of a long-range submarine of great size and strength that would span the oceans, dive to incredible depths, and contain awesome firepower. This vessel was the inspiration for Verne's novel 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Dinosaurs were extinct millions of years before man first appeared. So how do we know they existed? Well, have you ever seen a reconstructed dinosaur skeleton in a museum? That's the work of archaeologists who recovered the bones from a dig site. Otherwise, we might never have known about them. So, if there really was an island kingdom of gold and ivory temples and advanced technology called Atlantis, there should be ruins somewhere in the world to prove it existed. These remnants, if ever found, might reveal what daily life was like for the people of Atlantis, and what kind of houses, tools, clothing, and transportation they had. That's the type of information that was unearthed during excavations at the Great Pyramids of Egypt. Pottery, jewelry, and amazing treasures belonging to the ancient Egyptians and their kings were discovered. Bet you never thought you could get that kind of information from digging in the sand. Ever heard of the Loch Ness Monster, or Bigfoot, or unicorns? Legends of strange creatures roaming the earth have been told for countless generations. But are they real, or merely the product of man's vivid imagination? In the movie, a fictional sea creature called the Leviathan was thought to guard the entrance to Atlantis. Feared for its size and strength, it was discovered by the character Milo and the crew to be mechanical. If you believe in such myths, then monsters resembling creepy creatures like giant bugs are probably familiar to you. Or do you side with a group who thinks these tales belong in the fiction section of the library? Many ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians, Greeks, Romans, and the Mayans of South America, all had thriving societies that were advanced for their time. Well, maybe they didn't have flying fishmobiles, power crystals, or underwater cities, but these so-called primitive cultures weren't as primitive as you might think. Today's engineers remain baffled as to how the Egyptians moved tons of stone to build huge pyramids thousands of years before modern cranes. The Mayans were believed to have hot and cold running water, and an advanced irrigation system for agriculture. They even linked networks of stones like primitive freeways long before rush hour. In the Mediterranean, a shocking discovery was found near an ancient shipwreck. It was a small metal box over 2,000 years old. It can only be described as a form of computer thought to calculate planetary and lunar positions. Such discoveries intrigue and inspire the world's scientists to continue searching for remnants of lost lands, from fictional explorers such as Milo and his grandfather to real-life explorers of today. That's why the great quest to locate Atlantis continues.